Well, as a child, I grew up raised in a Christian family. When I turned 16, I got my driver's license, and you know, everybody's always so excited. It's freedom. But for me, it was too much freedom. It started out drinking to impress friends, and then the next thing you know, I was drinking when the friends weren't around, and it was always a party, even if I was the only one partying, and it snowballed to a point where I ended up getting mixed in with some wrong people at work, and started into addiction with methamphetamine. My drug use, it seemed to be insatiable. You know, it seemed like it had no end. You know, I'd gotten to a point of caring so little about myself that I was rushed to the Kalamazoo Hospital with a puncture wound in my upper chest, and self-inflicted. Laying there, I just, all I could think about was, what's my legacy? You know, it's what kind of example have I set in my life? You know, and the hardest thing after that was seeing my son, knowing that I'd been at a low that far down. I was just on the brink of not having a thing left, and I was scared to death I was going to lose one of the most important, what I seen as the most important thing that I stood to lose was my son, and I couldn't. The decisions I was making, I knew in my heart, I knew it was going to affect me for the rest of my life, and if I didn't do anything, it was, you know, I'd lose everything, and that's when I finally reached out for Jesus' help, and that was the biggest turning point in my life. It's just raising your hands up in prayer and telling Jesus, I need help. I need help, and he was there. He was there the whole time, but he was just waiting on me to say something, and when I finally did, you know, my world started turning in the other direction. I went from having a terrible addiction that I could hardly control to I didn't want anything to do with it. You know, addiction took so much from me, and really, I guess I can't even really say that it took so much from me as I willingly gave it. It almost cost me my life. And to think that today that none of that weighs on me anymore. It's just I'm proud of where I'm at in life, and I'm proud of the example I set for my son. My son looks at me and he said, "Well, Dad, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of who you are." And you know, that's the biggest compliment somebody can ever get in their life, you know, especially coming from where I came from. I know the only thing that got me through the dark times was Jesus Christ. If I would have never reached for him, it scares me to think where I'd be at today. If you don't have Jesus in your life, there's no better time than now. It's the best thing and the only thing you need to do for yourself. Jesus took my pain and loneliness and, you know, my lack of care, and I finally feel a feeling of self-worth, you know, that I can actually do something, that you know, and the legacy that I'm going to leave behind is somebody who follows Jesus, and that's something I'm proud of.